Good day, everyone. We are Group 3 and we are here to present to you and discuss the modern Philippine architecture era from 1898 to present. So, first we will, Erwin Bernie Marzan will be discussing the American colonial era.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Erwin Bernie V. Marzan, and I'm going to discuss the American colonial period, 1898 to 1946. Public buildings such as schools and government offices were constructed in American colonial style, while private homes were built in Art Deco style. So, nung American colonial period, may dalawang style ng architecture na na-present, which is yung American colonial style at yung Art Deco style. There are three notable architectural examples noong American colonial period. First is the National Museum of Fine Arts. It is also known as the Old Legislative Building. Next is the Manila Central Post Office. The Manila Central Post Office was built in 1926, and though it was damaged during World War II, it was reconstructed according to its original design. The building continues to house the Philippine Postal Corporation or PhilPost, and PhilPost main center of operation is here. The Manila Metropolitan Theater. The Metropolitan Theater is designed again by Arellano and opened in 1930. It was built in Art Deco style. So next are the notable architects. Here we have William E. Parson. William Edward Parson is a consulting architect to the United States government from 1905 to 1914. William E. Parson designed the standard plans for Gabaldon school buildings recommended by Daniel Burnham, who created the city plan for Baguio and Manila. So Gabaldon features are using modern construction technologies such as reinforced concrete and galvanized iron roofing. Parson integrated elements from bahay kubo and bahay na bato that are appropriate for the tropical climate. So the next notable architect is Daniel Burnham. So siya yung gumawa ng city plan ng Manila at saka city plan ng Baguio. So other notable works of Burnham are Ross Boulevard National Museum Complex, Burnham Park, Negros Occidental Provincial Capital, and Pangasinan Provincial Capital. Next is the post-war period, 1946 to 1972. After the World War II, the Philippines experienced a period of rebuilding and modernization. This led to the construction of large-scale buildings such as high-rise buildings, office buildings, and public housing projects. Notable architecture examples are the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the Philippine International Convention Center. Next are the notable architects. Leandro LOCSIN. He is the most prominent architect of the post-war period and is known for his modernist design. Oscar Zalmeda and Jose Pedro Recio are responsible for designing several large-scale public buildings during this period. So sila yung mga sikat na architects noon. Next is the Marcos era or the Marcos administration in 1972 to 1986. The Marcos administration is the best remembered for its contribution to the development of Philippine infrastructure. So here we present some of the buildings constructed during the Marcos administration. First is the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. The Bataan Nuclear Power Plant or BNPP was the Marcos administration solution to the oil crisis of 1973. Next, the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Cultural Center of the Philippines or CCP complex was built on land reclaimed from Manila Bay. It became home to the artistic creation of numerous artists such as Hernando Ocampo, Fernando Zubel, Arturo Luz, Cesar Legaspi, and Vicente Manansala. Next, the Manila Film Center. The Parthenon-inspired film center cost an estimated $25 million to build. Next is the San Juanico Bridge, one of the most iconic structure built under the Marcos regime is the San Juanico Bridge, also known as the Marcos Bridge, estimated to have cost about $21 million. The bridge measures approximately 2 kilometers long. Its construction took only 4 years beginning on August 1969 and ending December 1972. Next, the Manila Bay Reclamation Project. The project aimed to create a 10-kilometer highway to Cavite from reclaimed land. It was subsequently known as the Manila Cavite Coastal Road Reclamation Project or MCCRP. Next is the post-Marcos era to be reported by Mr. Juvel Carlos.
So here naman po, the next era in the modern Philippine architecture era is the post-Marcos era from 1986 up to the present. So sa postmodern era, inintegrate nila yung or incorporate nila yung traditional architectural elements into the modern way ngayon. So parang yung bahay kubo from the locally sourced materials, incorporate nila into the modern designs. The Greenbelt Chapel, also known as the Santo Niño de Paz Chapel, is a Catholic church which has managed to become a massive tourist attraction. It is a home of worship, service, and healing rituals. Kung sa Greenbelt Chapel in Makati, inintegrate yung traditional elements doon. Here naman sa the Mind Museum, inintegrate naman doon yung technology and the nature. The Mind Museum is a science museum in Manila, Philippines, that opened in 2012. It is located in the BGC or the Bonifacio Global City, a business district of the city. So the next naman po is yung mga notable architects sa post-Marcos era. Isa sa mga notable architect is si Filipino Palafox Jr. The next one is James Stewart Polshek. Kasama niya doon si Carlos Arnaiz. Dalawa silang kinilala for their use of technology and nature in their designs. So the next era naman po, yung pinakalas is the contemporary architecture in the Philippines. Kung sa post-Marcos, in-integrate nila doon. So sinama. Ngayon naman sa contemporary, parang ganun din. Blend din yung traditional and modern elements. It is also characterized by the use of sustainable materials, green design, and innovative technologies. So here naman po yung notable architecture examples from the contemporary architecture in the Philippines. Number one is the W Office Tower in Bonifacio Global City, designed by Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. The last architectural example is the Seda Hotel in the Cebu City, designed by JWV Coscuela Associates. So the notable architects naman from the contemporary architects, ito nga po yung WV Coscuela, known for their innovative and sustainable designs. The next is the Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill, or tinatawag silang SOM, is an American architectural, urban planning, and engineering firm. So to sum up, the contemporary architecture in the Philippines, the use of biophilic design and the integration of nature into buildings, also increasingly popular in contemporary architecture in the Philippines. So the next naman po is yung list of most notable architects in the modern era na itatakal po ni Mr. Daniel Ray Lagera.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Ray Lahera. So I'm here to discuss about the architects in the modern era. So let me give you a brief information about these architects. Number one is Pablo Antonio. Pablo Severo Antonio Sr. pioneered modern Philippine architecture and was the foremost modernist during his time. His architecture adopted Art Deco, which at its introduction was considered radical in contrast to neoclassicism and revivalist movements that prevailed under the earlier years of the American regime. So, Antonio embraced the simplicity of surface, bold shapes and forms, and sleek lines of the streamlined motif. His works merged inside the and outside space, creating a singularity between built environment and nature. Here are Pablo Antonio's famous works. Next, Ildefonso Santos. Santos is called the father of Philippine landscape architecture for good reason, because his time, landscape architecture was essentially negligible when it came to urban planning. Santos, however, pioneered urban landscaping in the country, proving that architecture was not merely about buildings, but about design of space which people use. Next is architect Pedro Recio. Architect Bong Recio received his Bachelor of Science degree in architecture from the University of Santo Tomas and is a member of United Architects of the Philippines, a fellow of the Philippine Institute of Architects, and an associate member of the American Institute of Architects and ASEAN Architect. Next architect is Juan Marcos de Guzman Arellano. Juan Marcos de Guzman Arellano was one of the Filipino architects who made Manila's image as the pre-war Pearl of the Orient. With its gleaming whitewashed neoclassical public buildings, wide tree-shaded boulevards, and its apartments, mansions, and fantasy palatial cinemas. Despite his extensive training in America and following a master plan and building style imposed by Americans, he still articulated and deeply nationalistic voice that spoke of aesthetic excellence, love for humanity, and adulation of the vernacular. Here are some of his famous works. Juan Nakpil was born in Quiapo, Manila in 1899. Nakpil studied engineering at the University of the Philippines, where he also had the opportunity to learn freehand drawing, painting, and decorative arts from greats like Fernando Amorsolo and Fabian de la Rosa. After obtaining a degree in civil engineering at University of Arkansas, he studied architecture at the Fontainebleau School of Fine Arts, where he received his diploma. Juan Nakpil, recognized as the father of Philippine architect and hailed as the first national artist for architecture in 1973, has designed numerous buildings that are still standing tall up to this day. Next, Carlos Santos Viola graduated in University of Santo Tomas on and he was a 10th placer on the board examination for architects. His strict construction supervision in the INC's skilled workers greatly influenced the final outcome of his projects. The master valued strict attention to detail that was emphasized prior to, during, and after each every construction. Next architect is Leandro LOCSIN.
So good morning, I am Zaidarin Lagata and this is the continuation of notable architects in modern era. So we have Leandro Locsin, a Filipino architect, artist, and interior designer known for his use of concrete, floating volume, and simplistic design in his various projects. So one of Locsin's most famous works is the Cultural Center of the Philippines complex, which includes the Folk Arts and Theater, Philippine International Convention Center, Philsite, and the Westin Hotel. So next you have Cesar Concho. Cesar Concho is the first university architect of the Philippines, of the University of the Philippines. He was one of the architects who created the Makati Central Business District. Conscious architecture has been described in the Encyclopedia of Art as a rational approach to design, resulting in logically arranged spaces, neatness of form, and a successful adaptation to climate. Francisco Bobby Mañosa, considered one of the most influential Filipino architects of the 20th century for having pioneered the art of Philippine neo-vernacular architecture. Mañosa was known for his advocacy of what has been called Philippine neo-vernacular architecture. His design aesthetic incorporated Philippine design motifs and local materials such as coconut and local hardwoods. Felino A. Palafox Jr. He is a Filipino architect, urban planner. He is the principal architect, urban planner, and founder of Palafox Associates. So that's all. Thank you.